Hi, it's Sean, the Fluency Awesomizer. This is Decoding Multi-Syllabic Words, episode 59. I have just 3 words I want to look at today, but a lot of information, so let's get started. I want you to read these words right out loud. What's this first word? It's a big word. What about this? And finally, all right, were any of those tricky to read? If so, keep watching. I'm going to show you some decoding strategies you can use when you're stuck on unfamiliar words like those, when you're reading independently. First, a reminder of the fable of the tortoise and the hare, and the moral, slow and steady wins the race, which is great advice when you do get stuck on an unfamiliar word, even a big unfamiliar word like this one. You can think of those words as races, and if you read like the hare, you might race through that word to get finished quickly. That's where mistakes can happen. But if you read like the tortoise and you take it slow and steady when you're trying to decode these words, that patience is definitely going to help improve your reading. Keep that in mind. Let's practice. All right, really big word here. Tricky thing about this word is this GN. It pops up every now and then. It can be really confusing. I'm going to start this word at the N because just a model for you that it is perfectly acceptable to start at the end of a big word like this, because anyone can see this word starts with N, but can you see from all the way down to the finish line that it ends with can't, right? It's a good idea to figure that out first, so then you can pay attention to the rest. That's a hard C there. The C followed by an A is a hard C. So this GN is tricky. Let's focus on what we know. That's the word sign. You recognize that? That G is silent, but you can confuse it with sing. So this could be in sign if, or it could be in sig nif. Fick. Yeah, this is the word insignificant. Really big word. Root word significant. That goes back to the ancient word language Latin, in significare, and that's where the GN comes from. Latin, in a lot of words, became the English word significant, and it's not sign if, it's signif. It can't. All right, and that's an adjective, means a big deal. Put the Latin prefix in on the beginning, that turns it into the opposite. Not a big deal. Insignificant. Insignificant. Next word, is that, it looks like fick. This is the tricky part. You either know this or you don't. That's insufficient, and we're going to look at that ending there. It comes from the word sufficient. You might know that as a report card word. Sufficient, good job. This letter C is the trick to this word, and actually this whole video. C makes more than one sound, usually an S or a K sound. But this word sufficient goes back to Latin, sufficientem, and the C-I-E-N-T sounds like cent in Latin. Over time, it became the French word sufficient, sufficient. And the C-I-E-N-T sounds like chant, sufficient. Became the English word sufficient, and that French C-I-E-N-T, we have that, we kept that in English, but we pronounce C-I-E-N-T, shent or shint. Sufficient, sufficient, depends on how you pronounce it. But the C-I, you need to know that the letter C can make it a sh sound when it's followed by an I. And you see it pretty frequently. Ancient, that's a CH sound. Special, that CI makes an SH sound. Official, again, sh. Delicious, again, the CI, sh. So know that about CI. Sometimes that C can make a sh sound. So we've got sufficient. Latin prefix in turns it into the opposite. You might know it as a report card word too. Insufficient, not so good. Insufficient. Last word. I'm going to start at the end again, just to model that it's okay. If you're stuck on a big word, look at the end, especially because like a race, runners get tired by the end of the race. And if you go to the finish line when you're reading, you won't be tired. There's scent. It's a money word, right? Scent. So starting with mag, nif, is that fick? No, that's scent. That C is soft. Yeah, this is the word magnificent. Magnificent is a word that goes back to Old French, magnificent. It's where that soft C and scent comes from. French, we have that a lot in English, but it goes further back to Latin, the root magnus. In Latin, magnus means great. And that's what magnificent means, great. Magnificent, adjective. All right, To wrap up here, once you get ready to read, I've written a passage to help you practice decoding some of these sounds and words. All right, I want you to get ready to hit pause and read this out loud. What does this say? Go. Hit pause. All right, that's it for today. Subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Facebook for more decoding videos like this one. At Facebook, you can go in my photos. There's an album full of reading challenges I've written to help you practice those, decoding those big words and the Awesomizer Fluency. And just search the Fluency Awesomizer. Screenshot this to remind you how to spell Awesomizer. Hope you enjoyed the video. Come back and see me soon. Bye.